Hello, my name is Reiko Osoroshi. On this channel, I narrate Japanese ghost stories. Today, I will narrate ghost stories, Tsukumo-kami. Tsukumo-kami. In Japan, there is a deity called Tsukumo-kami. It is said that after an object has existed for 100 years, it gains a spirit and transforms into this deity. For instance, the Ichimatsu doll, a type of traditional Japanese doll, is often used as an example. Passed down from one generation to another, it reaches a point where it's discarded as unwanted by one of the generations. However, that same night, the supposedly discarded Ichimatsu doll reappears in the house, no matter how many times it's thrown away. Ultimately, the owner becomes cursed. This tale serves as a reminder to treat objects with care. I used to believe it was a cautionary tale about valuing possessions, but maybe it's something else entirely. Let me share one of the stories I've heard. This is a story from when I was a college student. Although I entered university, I had trouble fitting in and, to fill the loneliness, I spent my time collecting and reading books at the university library and bookstores. As a result, I became somewhat knowledgeable about books, and I could even recite the names of well-known authors from memory. One day, as usual, I went to a bookstore and found an unfamiliar old book. Since the store also dealt with second-hand books, I assumed it had been recently put up for sale. However, upon picking it up, I realized it was quite ancient, probably dating back to the Taisho era or something. I can't believe they'd buy such an old book. No one would probably want it, I thought. Looking at the title, it said, "My Autobiography." The author's name was unfamiliar to me. For some reason, without even checking the contents, I became intrigued by the book and immediately took it to the counter to purchase it. However, the staff told me, "We don't have such a book in this store. Don't say strange things." Honestly, I didn't understand what was going on, but I thought, if it's already in my hands, then there's no problem. It's actually lucky to get it for free. So I returned home and started reading the book right away. The writing style was quite archaic, and since I was researching as I read, it took quite a while to get through. I spent a whole day and managed to read only a few pages. The content went something like this. I am an insignificant writer. In this book, I record my encounter with her. On August 17th, as usual, I entered a diner, ordered a mackerel set meal for lunch, and tried to come up with ideas for my work, but nothing came to mind. Moreover, while eating the mackerel, I accidentally cut my mouth on a fishbone. Readers, you may think, poor thing. However, that's not the case. Because on that day, I encountered her. After reading this much, my impression was, what is this, a romance story? Not a genre I usually read. Well, reading while researching feels like solving a puzzle, so it's fun and fine. I thought that and went to sleep that day. And then I had a dream. I was eating a meal at a restaurant. The place was completely empty. A couple, a man and a woman, entered the restaurant. The man had a gentlemanly air and wore a hat, while the woman was neatly dressed. I was captivated by the woman's large eyes, fair skin like a porcelain doll, and soft lips. And then I woke up. Because I read a genre I don't usually read, I had a strange dream. I don't feel very good, I thought as I brushed my teeth. Ouch. It seemed like I accidentally cut my mouth while brushing my teeth. I continued reading that book with great enthusiasm. Here's what I was able to read through on the second day. On August 18th, I had mackerel set meal at the diner today as well. She came to the restaurant alone today. I saw this as an opportunity and struck up a conversation. It seems she recently moved to the neighborhood due to her husband's job, and he had come for lunch alone. Her name is supposedly Satsuki. She mentioned that she enjoys reading, and when I told her I was a writer, she expressed interest in reading my manuscripts. Of course, I happily agreed. Could she be interested in me? I ended up writing the manuscript without sleeping. I'll write a love story with her. Yes, a romance story that starts at this diner. To be honest, I thought, this is creepy. I thought, is he stalking a married woman? Unbelievable. Maybe it's a mystery novel. With those thoughts, I went to sleep. I had a dream that day too. I was desperately writing the manuscript, sliding the pen across the paper. The morning sun was already streaming in through the window. I paid no attention to it and continued writing the manuscript diligently. That's what the dream was like. I woke up, but I didn't feel like I had slept at all. I must be sleep deprived. Maybe the quality of my sleep has dropped because I've been reading and shut up in my room for so long. Let's try to read ahead sooner. I thought this as I continued reading. August 19th, I visited the address I heard from Satsuki to deliver the manuscript. Satsuki was very pleased. As a thank you, she treated me to tea. It had a nice fragrance. Could this mean we're mutually interested? August 20th, I had mackerel set meal for lunch at the diner as usual, and Satsuki appeared. I thought we were becoming closer and in a romantic relationship, but she returned the manuscript to me. Satsuki said, "I won't come here anymore. I'm returning the manuscript as well. Please don't get involved." She left after saying that. I was deeply hurt. Why? We were so in love. Maybe I didn't try hard enough. After all, I was trying to betray her husband. I need to show how desperate I am. I'll carve her name into my arm. Maybe she'll understand then. I felt intensely disturbed by this. I've never seen such a vivid depiction of stalker-like emotions before. I thought, maybe I should stop reading further. With that thought, I went to sleep. And today, I had another dream. I was desperately enduring pain, using a needle and ink to carve something into my arm. I woke up feeling pain in my arm. When I looked at it, it was injured and covered in blood. I wondered what happened, and as I washed the wound, some characters floated up, Satsuki. I was terrified. What is this? I hurriedly discarded the old book with my autobiography written on it. That day, I felt unwell due to what happened and spent the whole day sleeping. And then I had another dream. I was at her house, being berated by a woman and engaged in a heated argument. I was carving something into my arm with a needle and ink. I inadvertently applied force, pushing her and causing her to fall. She hit her head on a corner and stopped moving. I screamed and returned home. I hung a rope from the ceiling, closed my eyes, put my neck through the loop. But the rope snapped, and I hit the ground. I crouched down. That's when I woke up, struggling for breath. Trembling with anger, I let out a voice that couldn't be called a scream. But such anger subsides in an instant. Something remarkable can happen. And it's there by my pillow. The old book I thought I had discarded, my autobiography. Filled with fear, I tried to calm down. I turned on the faucet and drank water, splashed my face. When I looked in the mirror, I trembled. There were marks of a rope around my neck. Feeling utterly helpless, I put the book in my bag with the desperate hope of finding salvation and headed to the nearby shrine. There weren't many people at the shrine, and it was rare to see anyone shouting for help. Shortly after, a Shinto priest appeared and listened to my story. With closed eyes and a bowed head, the priest spoke. Perhaps a memorial service and purification are necessary. First, I'd like to see the book. When I looked in my bag, the book was gone. I was sure I had put it in my bag and brought it with me. Seeing my pale face in the sky, the priest continued, the book likely has a will of its own. It may have started as a cursed object filled with people's ill intentions, but over time, it transformed into Tsukumo-kami. While I can't guarantee in this sanctuary, it's probably safe that the book has gone somewhere. I'm not sure if we can perform a memorial service and purification. You shouldn't leave from here for a while. How many years have passed since then? I have been assisting the Shinto priest as a shrine attendant, and the marks on my neck and arm have healed well. However, even now, I haven't taken a single step outside of this shrine. What would have become of me if I hadn't come here that day? And now, exactly this moment, what would have happened if I had stepped just 1 foot outside this shrine? I still remember. To mark the place where I stopped reading, I had placed a bookmark in the book. And I recall that the bookmark from that book was exactly wedged just before the last page of the book, the very last page. How was it? Do you have anything that has been passed down through generations in your family? If you haven't been treasuring it, it's not too late to start now. You never know what might happen if you don't take care of it, right? Also, have you ever been strongly drawn to an old object that you happen to come across? Perhaps you are being called by it. If you have any other stories you would like me to introduce or any questions about the stories, please leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next episode.